In this video, I'm going to explain what's happening inside the main markets as well as the crypto market. There's a lot you need to be aware of at this current time. I'll also explain what's happening with Bitcoin and why it's so incredibly important to be aware of what is occurring inside the crypto market. The crypto market is always trading, and it's the best indication of risk on and risk off activity across all markets. When it comes to trading and investing, a lot of investors say that they want to buy the dip, they want to buy the bottom, but buying the bottom is a stress-laden thing to do. Trading and investing is deeply psychological. I'll help you with some things that I've learned over the past 40 years inside financial markets that will really help you out as well. Let's run the numbers. In yesterday's video, we said as far as the SP 500 was concerned, we had a lot of overhead structural resistance playing out below the 5700 mark. We had to get through that structure before we could pass to the other side and start to rally. What we've seen is that structure was far too strong. The news headlines and social media will be coming up with lots of garbage to explain what's going on. It's simply structure rejecting price. Now, we do have lower levels of structure in the S&P 500, but they're fairly spaced out, and we could find that we're now in the process of cutting under and going lower. This is one potential scenario. Another potential scenario is that we just flatline like this. The best case scenario is that we've tapped it once, twice, and 3 times, we hit it 4 times, and we break through. Social media and the news is full of certainty. They will tell you 100% guaranteed which direction price is going. I can tell you 100% they're incorrect. Price is going simply between structural resistance and structural support levels. If it gets above a structural resistance and level and converts it into support, it's got positive structural attraction, or PSA, to the next structural resistance level. If it can't make it through, it's got negative structural attraction to the structural level below. Bitcoin can give us an idea, as it's the most risk-sensitive asset class in existence, where the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, the Dow, and the Russell could be headed. And we can see that we overcame a level of resistance inside the price chart, but we've also come up to a level where retail will be looking, and the shorts will be there, seeking to push the price down. We had a big green candle up, and I was warning everybody, hey guys, we're just coming into a level of resistance. You need to pay attention. Now, we saw that we had a rejection there, but it's not too bad. If you look at all of these candles, retail will be saying, there is support there. The real question is that we need to look structurally to see if there is actual support there. Not just recent indicative price support, but structural support. Structural support always does all of price history. Now, if we find support here, we certainly have not lost the uptrend as far as this retracement goes back to an area of where retail will be looking. If we find we do something like this, it's of course, very positive. But if we find we do something like this, it's very negative. Now, what do I mean by it's really negative? If we find we do an underside retest and we need to look at structure, it's not about these lines. We must look structurally, but I'm just giving you the helicopter view at the current time. If we find that we undertest all of that area, people will get incredibly bearish, the shorts will come in and go to town. Now, what happens from the other direction? We can see that we've had a cut over here, and it's at least in some kind of support. If we find that we go higher from here, which could very well be on the cards, if we do find that, we would expect the S&P 500 and the major market indices to move upwards as well. Don't forget, crypto trades 24/7 by 365. The major market indices are really damn lazy. They've got bankers' hours, and bankers' hours are basically, I don't work. I'll just zoom in to this particular price area. So we saw in the past 24 hours a big green candle, and of course all the retail influencers were saying it's going to the moon. We know that's not quite the case. Price is always moving in a wave. So what we need to do is to look at the structure. Now, these are the structural levels from inside the service. Now, what we can see around here, there was fairly significant structure. So even though we came up and got across these levels of resistance, there was so much structure here that a price retracement was quite likely. Now, where did it retrace to? It went literally to the 86,800 area and then back to around 83,500. That is a big retracement, but this is what you have to anticipate. If you know where the structural resistance is inside the market, digestion or normalization is always part and parcel of price waves. Now we need to look at what could come next. Having a look at the SP 500, we can see from a structural stance that in the past trading session we came up, we came down, and we've done an underside retest around that 5670 level of structural resistance. This is an SC. You learn all about these SCs, these particular areas of structural resistance, and level 2 standard certification. Now, this is creating negative structural attraction back to the 5600 structural support level. Remember, when we can't hold a specific level, we have an attraction to a lower level of structure. If we can hold it, we have a positive structural attraction to a level above. One thing to note, these are not brick walls. They are gravitational areas and things can wobble around somewhat. But we can see for the last 4 days, effectively price has been flat. But we understand when it comes to the SP 500, there is a degree of negative structural momentum. If we don't bypass and get above 5700, the market will continue to go down. At worst, at best, it will consolidate. It will do something like that. It doesn't matter to us. With the CTKS method, you can make money in any market condition, but you must be aware of structure. Therefore, when we look at Bitcoin, we saw on the 2-hourly basis that we had quite a rally that was rejected. Now we know exactly why this rally was rejected, because there was just simply too much overhead structural resistance. Price needed to come back and digest. Now currently we're seeing structural support at the 84,200 level. Bypassing the $86,000 structural resistance level will be incredibly important, and we also know around the 86,000, just a little bit less, at the 85,600 level is all of that retail 200 period moving average rubbish that you hear so much about. Ken, why do you call it rubbish? Well, it's basically this thing. It would just give you an idea of the trend, but it doesn't give you any concept of structure. For example, many people thought that when price got above the 200 period moving average, it was acting as support. You can see there was actually all of the resistance was above the 200 period moving average. Because all the sellers were here, they pushed the price down. This is exactly what we would anticipate. And that's why in yesterday's video I said, be careful. Okay, if we just zoom out a little bit, we can see that we're under negative price momentum. But fortunately, we do have structural levels that will support price, and around 81,850 is particularly good. One of the reasons we focus so much on Bitcoin and the major market indices is because they actually really matter. They move in lockstep with each other. Not 100% lockstep, but directionally they do so. Now, what does this mean? It means if the SP 500 is on the way up, guess what? Bitcoin and your beloved alts are on the way up as well. If we're finding that the major market indices, especially the futures, are starting to decay, that will throw negative price momentum into the crypto market because it will pull Bitcoin down. This is literally all about intercorrelation and interconnection. We can see that we've just been rejected by the 84,557 level of structural overhead resistance. Bitcoin is currently 84,330. If we lose the 84,204 level underside retest, that opens up negative structural attraction, or NSA, to the 83,483 mark. If we find structural support here at the 84,204 and manage to get above 84,557, that opens up the 86,000 area. You will find price action isn't random, it's always structurally bound. And if you know where the structure is, you know where the support and resistance levels are ahead of time. We literally have a crystal ball. We can see into the future. We understand where things are going to get hot and where they're going to get cold. The CTKS method is literally the only leading indicator of price. You already know where the structure is. All you need to do is to understand intercorrelation and interconnection. The thing to note, there are always opportunities inside the market. It depends where Bitcoin goes. If Bitcoin is coming down, the alts are going to bleed, and they're going to come down far more than the percentage change in Bitcoin. It's generally 1 to 2 or 1 to 3 in terms of a relationship ratio. For example, if Bitcoin comes down 2%, you would expect the alts to come down 4 to 6% at a minimum. But it also goes the other way. If you see Bitcoin coming up, we expect a 2 or 3 to 1 percentage variation for the alts. You can make a huge amount of money from this variability, but you must track Bitcoin. And to track Bitcoin, you need to know what the major market indices are doing. The markets have been fairly brutal of late, and a lot of people have been reaching out saying, how do I get my mindset wrapped around this volatility? The first thing to understand, the markets are always moving in a wave, and it's because of the tariff policies that we've seen so much turbulence in global markets. You can take advantage of this volatility, but only if you are actually inside the market. I've prepared something really special for our global family. Remember, trading and investing is all about mindset as well as technicals. Whenever you buy or sell, you're making a trading decision, and you'll find that you will buy and sell at the wrong times. When this is the case, just always remember that life forges you in strength, wisdom, courage, and meaning. Don't fear the flames. This is a really important thing to keep in mind when you feel like you've got it wrong because your account balance is going down. It's easy to personally ascribe meaning to it, like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. That is not actually the case. The markets can be very turbulent. The flames of losses, be it banked or unbanked, being paper or real, or realized, they're forging you. This is a rite of passage for everyone. Having been inside financial markets for nearly 4 decades, I can tell you these flames can get pretty severe. Just let the flames forge you. It's very much an analogy for life. Life often throws us curveballs and things that we just hate. Stand strong. Our community, our global family, is full of incredibly strong people. You are one of those people. To be all that you can be in both personality and financially, you're going to have to go through setbacks. And what you'll find, those setbacks in life, those pullbacks, and they can be incredibly severe. From a personal level, you may be dealing with sickness, loss of a loved one, separation from family, relationship breakdowns, conflict, addiction, stress, depression. There seems to be a never-ending list of things that can pull us down. But just like in financial markets, those pullbacks set you up for the next life rally. Always keep in mind, when you get a pullback, you're growing in strength. You will reach support levels and you will rally forward next time, unless you give up. And inside our global family, we do not give up. If it's the right thing to do, we do it. If it's the wrong thing to do, it never enters our mind. Unfortunately, there's a lot of negative excellence out there. Positive excellence is what we subscribe to. Having inner peace and outer peace, being learning machines, being humble, being patient. The most important thing right here, right now, is to be persistent and committed. Remember, life is not what you get, life is who you become as a person. If you're going through a life pullback at the moment, please make sure that you're kind to yourself. What you will find, those life pullbacks will unlock these boxes, fulfillment and meaning. If you're acting from a position of positive excellence, you are on the right path. Just keep with it. And please let me know in the comments, how do you keep going when you want to stop? I very much look forward to your comments. And always keep moving forwards, and do so positively. Have a great day or night ahead, my friends, and Kate and I look forward to catching up with you again in the next video. Bye for now.